Hey everyone, and welcome to the Vegan Man Food Channel. This is Cooking with Manny, and I, of course, am Manny. Thank you so much for joining me for a vegan recipe today. So today we're going to be making some tempeh BLTs. So obviously we're going to be substituting bacon with a tempeh bacon. And so you're going to find that this is a very simple, very affordable sandwich. So you can make this for lunch, you can make it for dinner, you can make it for the whole family. I like to take it to the beach with me. The beach is a great place to have a tempeh BLT. So before we start cooking, let's take a look at the ingredients together. Now here's our ingredients for our vegan BLT. Well, and some people will call this a TLT because a TLT, instead of bacon, we're going to be using tempeh. What is tempeh? Well, if you haven't seen my videos about tempeh, here's just a little summary about it. It's kind of like tofu, but instead of it being based out of soybean, it's based out of grains. So because it's based out of grains, it creates a very firm, hard texture, much more firm than tofu, which is why it makes a very good bacon. So if you ate it on its own, it's very bland. So you need to add flavor to it. Well, what is our bacon flavor? Well, we're going to start first with oil. Think about when you cook bacon, bacon produces it. There's an oil that comes out of the meat and into the pan. So you need some sort of fatty oil to help create the bacon. Now let's look at our spices. Over here you can use a soy sauce. I'm using an amino, and this is going to add some saltiness to it, but I'm also going to use salt because we need like a nice sodium flavor with our bacon. We also have garlic powder and black pepper. I'm also going to be using a little bit of chili powder and paprika. Specifically, I'm using a smoked paprika to, again, add some of that smokiness, but the peppers are going to help add a red color as well as a nice bite to the tempeh bacon. Now, to add to the smokiness, I'm going to use liquid smoke to again help with that smoky flavor. And now look, I'm going to be using some kind of sweetness. I'm going to use agave. I'm using agave. Typically, I like to use maple syrup, so it adds a maple bacon flavor, but I ran out. So here we're using agave. That will help us make our tempeh bacon. Now what about our sandwich? Of course, we have bread here. I'm using a nice sprouted bread. The bread will be the base. Then a BLT typically has mayo on it. This is a vegan mayo from Hellmann's. And then the L, our lettuce right here. And then the T, the other T really, is tomato. So very simple sandwich. Let's go ahead and make our BLT or TLT, and let's put it together and see how it looks. The first thing we need to do is cut our tempeh. Notice I'll cut it nice and thin, and go ahead and throw it in the pan. Let it saute and crisp up. Notice there's no oil. I'm letting it brown on both sides. Now, while it's browning, you can actually make the sauce, and so let's go ahead and start that. We start with olive oil, aminos, and then our spices and salt, some liquid smoke, and agave. Now once the tempeh has begun to brown, I like to add some olive oil to get it to crisp up nice. Now we're going to go ahead and add the flavor. Let it cook that flavor in and make it nice and crispy. And you can see that the tempeh bacon is getting nice and brown. Next, we're going to put our sandwich together. We'll start with mayo, and then we'll add our tempeh bacon on next. And after our tempeh bacon, we're going to add our tomato and then lettuce. After that, we have a very simple vegan BLT sandwich. Well, there we have it, folks. Here is our vegan BLT, or the BTLT, our bacon, tempeh, lettuce, and tomato sandwich. So I hope that you can see that this was actually a very easy sandwich to make. It's full of flavor with all the flavors that we infused into this tempeh bacon. And as you can see, it's a very affordable sandwich. Each sandwich is probably each sandwich is a little under $3 per sandwich. So this is a very easy recipe that you can use to eat for lunch or dinner, or make it for a family get-together, or take it to the beach with you. Once again, we'd like to thank you so much for joining us for this recipe. Join us again for another recipe here on the Vegan Man Food channel.